This semester was definitely something that I gained a lot more than I even thought I was going to. Coming into the semester, I was definitely open minded because I don't know a lot about education, but I learned a lot more than I knew. My only basis I had when I came in was classroom management, and like because of my background with Boys and Girls Club, so I understood that when we talked about that. But even on the first day, just being shown different ways to share on tables, that was interesting, and that's something that I kind of practiced when I was at my service learnings at Boys and Girls Club. To be like, okay, here you're going to share it by table like this, or okay, we're going to make sure you go to order, and that kind of helped with getting kids to want to do things because they kind of had more structure than we had. So that was something that had an immediate impact on me. But the biggest things this semester that I needed to learn, I felt like, was how to create a lesson plan because I had no experience doing that. And the other thing was just how to be an effective teacher. I feel like that's something that, of course, I can always learn from in the future, but this semester just has truly have helped me in many ways because before the school year started, I kind of knew you could help kids do certain things, with the lesson plan you can help teach them. But as the school year went on, I became more experienced and understanding of how you can do these things. And it helped me because, like, for example, whenever we had to do the 5 minute teaching in the classroom, that taught me the aspect of keeping your students engaged and at the same time keeping the time going. Because as a teacher, you obviously will have a lot more than 5 minutes, but being able to teach that lesson in that time helped me just understand how fast time can go. Because whenever we did the video project, 5 minutes felt like a long time because I could stop and restart. But with doing that project in person, it helped me just understand that, like, hey, like time can sometimes get on you, so you gotta have to adjust based off of what happens. And that was something I appreciated. I appreciated whenever my moments were hard in the class because obviously the class can sometimes have its easy moments, hard moments, but the hard moments helped me understood what I could be to be a better teacher because that's what I want to be at the end of the day. And the biggest thing for me, or the big thing for me helping was the use of different use of books and ChatGPT. That was something interesting that I learned this year that I wasn't really sure about. I didn't know that you could use outside things such as that to help with the lesson plan. I always thought it was all right. You got to read the book, and information is created. But having tools such as that has helped me even develop as a student in general. Like, hey, there's this thing I need to teach about, or this thing I need to present about. How could I use that help me create a lesson or help me create a game plan? And I kind of had it used as a best friend, and so that kind of helped me even at that point of the semester, which is like something I want to use kind of going forward. Not necessarily having ChatGPT be the teacher and create the lesson plan, but at the same time, like use some ideas from that I wasn't thinking about, and then trying to include it into a lesson plan that I'm creating. And I feel like that will help me not only be a better teacher, but necessarily just be someone who is just being on with the times and just like being things are being more inclusive because it's not just my thought process, it's thought process that are studied from aloud. And that was one of the biggest days for me, I would say, is that day whenever we went to the library, and that kind of clicked for me whenever I started becoming like, okay, this is how you create a lesson plan, this is how you kind of read through a book and try to create a lesson. And that's something that I felt like I needed because I always felt like I have the way to talk the students down. But I've always felt like content wise I was a little worried because I do understand my content field. But at the same time, I have moments where I'm like, what if I don't remember this thing? Or how can I create a lesson about this? But having those resources is going to help me understand the way to teach my students better. And that's something I want to carry with me for the rest of my teaching career. But at the end of this year, the biggest thing I want to say for myself is that I've definitely grown. I've grown from being someone who was just excited to teach because it sounded something fun and be something really beneficial to do, to knowing that I can make a real difference and still evolve as I'm going. I don't feel like me going into school I'm going to be kind of wading water. I will wade water a little bit because it's new, but I also feel like after having this class I've learned more about being a teacher than just like, hey, you have to teach the information. Like, you got ways to keep students engaged, have ways students share. It just had me the ability to share so many ideas that I want to internalize, so whenever I do start teaching, that I can kind of spread on to others and maybe start putting the love for school, or specifically social studies that I'm teaching, because of just how many ideas are going through. Another big thing I learned was a teacher eye. I had no idea what that was before the school year started. With teacher eye, to me, I was like, oh, you can look at things kind of through an educational view, but it was just like every little thing. Like you started just like looking in the class and going, oh wow, okay, that's something I can use, or okay, I see why she did that. She wasn't just doing that to do it. She was doing it so you could have a purpose of going through this thing, and that helped me a lot, because being able to see like the teacher or Miss Myers, doing that thing helped me, because I'd be like, okay, I see that she's doing this to help other students go through this, or oh, she's going to pick on this random student right here and do like a popcorn thing, so students are engaged because they know, okay, hey, we have to be able to be ready to answer this question just in case. And that's something that I definitely gained from it. And so if I had to rate this school year, I would give it an A, because not only was it something where I learned a lot, but it was something where I grew way more than I even thought I was going to. And I enjoyed the school year very thoroughly.